A pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to Broom at One, First Airline. Thousands of families and businesses in parts of India that are sure to negatively be impacted as government announced big bag hotel unity conference and other parts. Citizen movement Chobani County Senator, a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, and Snow's rejection to the Ministry of Information claims of Snow's attempting to undermine and destabilize the government. CMC described as demoralized and anti-democratic tactics exhibited by the government. The University of Liberia resumed registration process for the 2025 entrance and placement exams aptitude test. As a Zen will be a minister only in Montserrat County, except for UL Sinjay campus in Sinjay Green County, and away from home, Ukraine's president Dmitry Zelensky has alleged that U.S. silence after recent Russian attack is encouraging President Vladimir Putin following Moscow's largest aerial attack yet. Details of these developments in the news bulletin. The voices of the newsmakers are unpackaged. We are taking a very short break to be right back. Thanks for rejoining us. Up next, the bulletin of news with Sam Andrews.
Dozens of families residing in Hotel Africa community, including around the historic Unity Conference Center, the golf course, and villas, risk losing their properties. These areas, occupied by thousands of persons, including businesses, religious centers, and schools, have been declared as government's property. The government, through the Liberia Land Authority, has already indicated that it is prepared to take back Hotel Africa, the Gulf Coast, and its historic villas, including Unity Conference Center. Occupants of those areas have been given 90 days to vacate as the government challenges the public, particularly those with business operating on Hotel Africa premises, to take what the government calls due note and act accordingly. The Liberia Lane Authority, through public service announcement, noted all occupants who may have obtained certain rights to do business or stay on government's declared properties must present copies of their documents or deeds to its offices for verification and redocumentation. LLA added that the same is required of individuals or businesses who may have purchased or leased any portion of Hotel Africa areas, specifically the villas or the Gulf Coast. Authorities of the University of Liberia have announced the resumption of registration process for 2025 entrance and placement exams and aptitude tests beginning Monday, May 26th. The registration process, which was suspended early April, has officially resumed and will end on Saturday, June 14th. A circular issue under the signatures of Dr. Agnes Reeves Taylor, Vice President for Academic Affairs, University of Liberia, disclosed that it has previously announced the exam will be administered only in Montserrat County, except for UL Stars St. J campus in St. J Grand Kippa County. The undergraduate paper-based exam will be administered on Saturday, June 28th, in Montserrat and on Strides St. J campus, while rolling computer-based aptitude tests for the graduate and professional schools will be administered from Monday, June 30th to Saturday, July 12th. Broom County Senator Edwin Snow has strongly rejected claims contained in recent publication by the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism, accusing him of planning to undermine and destabilize the Liberian government. Senator Snow, in a statement issued on his official Facebook page Saturday, noted that while he takes steps to verify the authenticity of the publication, he wishes to state that in the strongest possible terms, he categorically rejects and condemns any such false and unfounded allegations. He further stated, should the statement be confirmed as authentic, he will call for an immediate, full, independent, and transparent investigation into what he termed malicious accusations against his person. The bombing senator described the government's publication as unfortunate and deeply troubling, asserting that the Ministry of Information has purportedly attributed to him an inflammatory and irresponsible remarks, alleging that he is intending to undermine and destabilize the government. In a statement issued by Mikyad earlier on Saturday, the government condemns what it calls recent irresponsible and inflammatory statement made by Birmingham County Senator Edwin Snow, who also serves as member of ECOWAS Parliament. According to the government, Senator Snow vowed to use his connection at the sub-regional body ECOWAS to ensure the failure of the Boubacar Koun-led government. The government further accused the Birmingham County Senator of declaring that he would do everything possible, even if it means discouraging foreign direct investment to Liberia and making the country ungovernable and unstable until he, Senator Snow, becomes president of Liberia. The government's allegation and the prominent opposition figure response to the government have sparked deep concerns among Liberians home and abroad and in the diaspora, as many demand a tougher and impartial investigation to establish the facts. In a related development, the opposition citizens movement for change has accused the government of willfully taking on dangerous lies and anti-democratic tactics as a means of silencing critical voices. CMC, in a statement, categorically condemned the government's May 24th statement issued by the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, which accused Senator Edwin Snow of planning to undermine and destabilize the government by using his connection at the Economic Community of West African States. The Citizens Movement for Change political party described as reckless communication from Mika, adding it doesn't only contain falsehoods and misrepresentation, but a direct assault on free speech, political pluralism, and democratic values in Liberia. The statement indicated that the government's allegation against Senator Edwin Snow set a dangerous precedent where political disagreements are framed as threats to national security and dissenting voices are treated as enemies of the state. CMC at the same time called on Liberians to remain vigilant and reject what it referred to as creeping culture of fear, distortion, and authoritarianism by the Boubacar-led government. The opposition party said what is more troubling is the government's call for ECOWAS and international partners to act against a Liberian citizen on the basis of unsubstantiated claims, noting it is not just poor governance, it is a state-sponsored intimidation, something it said must not be normalized. The Liberia Council of Churches has rejected statements released by bishops of the Restoration Baptist Church and Don Stewart Pentecostal Church against the council's leadership. Recently, Bishop Gadier Johnson and Bishop Tobor Dixon, in a joint statement, alleged that the current leadership of the Liberia Council of Churches is violating the constitution of the religious body by entrenching themselves in power despite the expiration of their term. Reacting to their statements over the weekend, Liberia Council of Churches Secretary General Christopher Toll described the statement of the two bishops as false because the current leadership is administering the affairs of the council in accordance with the amended constitution of the LCC. Reverend Christopher Toll said the two religious leaders lack the credibility to question the leadership of Dr. Samuel Reeves because their failure to attend executive meeting of the Liberal Council of Churches between 2 to 4 years now and have not paid any due for the last 4 years. The Liberal Council of Churches Secretary General described the attitude of the two bishops as disrespectful to the leadership of the council when they walk out in a motion for their demand to form part of the deliberation in the last executive meeting. A group under the banner Pan African Forces for Africa's Liberation has accused Assistant Minister for Administration and Public Safety at the Ministry of Justice, Hendrik Noah, of masterminding the denial of their permit on grounds that their flyer contained a photo of Burkinabe military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. According to the group's chairman, Emmanuel Sankara Khan, this year's Pan African Day is marked with a public outcry due to the violation of their constitutional right to peacefully march on the streets of Monrovia. Mr. Kwan claimed that the organization submitted its request more than a week in advance in accordance with the constitutional requirements. But Anthony at Lord Noah cited political and national security concerns as the reasons for the denial. He further condemned the decision as an attack on civilian civil liberties, saying Anthony Lord Noah has positioned himself as the principle of African unity and Pan Africanism. The Pan African Forces for Africa's Liberation had emphasized that his organization's administration or admiration for Ibrahim Traore stems from his efforts to use Burkina Faso natural resources to improve the lives of the citizens. The Pan African Day is observed annually on May 25th across the continent to celebrate African unity, diversity, and shared struggle against colonial and neo-colonial systems. It also serves as a time for reflection on the ongoing social, economic, and political challenges facing the continent. The Speaker of the House of Representatives has issued an apology to Liberians for what he called embarrassment caused by the impasse at the House of Representatives during the last 7 months. Richard Kuhn said the tension was created because some lawmakers who did not want the tradition of the speakership coming from the ruling party. Speaker Kuhn made the disclosure when he was down in honor by residents of the township of West Point in Morovia during the weekend. Remarking during the ceremony, Representative of District 7, Emmanuel Down, assured the residents of West Point that he will ensure that Newport Junior High School and MV Massacre Junior High School be elevated to high schools. Representative Down also disclosed that efforts are underway to construct a school on a portion of land in the township of West Point, purposely for the construction of another school to meet the growing number of children in the district. An executive member of the Liberia Council of Churches, Natat Jones, has described the proposed bill by some members of the House of Senate calling for Christian and Muslim holidays as a recipe for instability in the country. Recently, Senators Edwin Snow Amarakone and Joseph Jala proposed a bill to plenary of the Liberian Senate, urging that body to pass into law the establishment of Christian and Muslim holidays. The legislation titled An Act to Establish Certain Religious Holidays in the Republic of Liberia is reportedly aimed at formally recognizing major observances such as Christmas, Easter, Eid al-Fitr, and El Adha. Meanwhile, members of the Muslim religion have since termed the bill as a step toward religious equity in Liberia, claiming that Christian holidays are widely observed, yet Muslim festivals are not legally recognized or observed. Speaking Friday in Monrovia, Reverend Jones said the passage of such instrument into law could lead to religious dispute and destabilize the peace of the country. He described the bill as inappropriate, noting that Liberia engulfed with a series of issues that need urgent attention rather than passing into law such bill. The Liberian clergyman admonished the leadership of the Senate to disregard the senator's proposed legislation, adding that it was crafted by the senators to gain political members of the religious communities.
Sam Andrews there with the news bulletin. It's a regular feature on King's Newsroom. 45 minutes of news about Liberia and elsewhere. Anyone about top developments, dozens of families and businesses in parts of Virginia Township to negatively be impacted by as government announces plans to take back Hotel Africa Unity Conference Center and other hot spots. We're taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the news makers. Welcome back. Let's not take our first development. A group under the banner Pan-African Forces for Africa's Liberation has accused the Assistant Minister for Administration and Public Safety at the Ministry of Justice, Edric Noward, of masterminding the denial of their permit on ground that their flyer contained the photo of Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. According to the group's chairman, Emmanuel Sankara, found this year's Pan-Africa Day is marked with the public outcry due to the violation of their constitutional right to peacefully march on the street of Monrovia, and that the organization submitted its request more than a week in advance, in accordance with constitutional requirements, but Anthony Noah cited political and national security concern as the reason for the denial.
The Pan-African Forces for African Liberation Fata unequivocally condemns with profound indignation and unresolved disdain the deliberate and egregious decision by the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Justice, specifically the Assistant Minister for Administration and Safety, Indra Noah, to deny our permit for a peaceful unity walk in Monrovia today, May 24, 2025. This unity walk was intended to honor and acknowledge the essence of a progressive move recognizing leaders like Thomas Asodori Nwai Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba of Congo, the one you call Dr. Congo, Ibrahim Traore, whose ideology continues to inspire young people across Africa. We will be not permit on the basis that we have Captain Ibrahim Traore's photo on our flyer, even though the government of Liberia is lobbying with Burkina Faso and other African countries for UN security permanency. We want to inform you that Edric F. Noah is a certified enemy of African unity.
Up next, there's a development. The Liberia Council of Churches has reacted to statements released by the Bishop of the Restoration Baptist Church and the Don Stewart Pentecostal Churches against the LCC leadership. Recently, Bishop Gladys Johnson and Toba Dixon, in a joint statement, alleged that the current leadership of the LCC is violating the constitution of the religious body by entreating themselves in power despite the expiration of their terms. Reacting to the statement over the weekend, LCC Secretary General Reverend Christopher Toole described the statements of the two bishops as false because the current leadership is ministering the affairs of the council in accordance to the amended constitution of the LCC.
The Liberal Council of Churches strongly rejects the recent false and defamatory statements circulated by Bishop Toba E. Dixon of the Don Stewart Christ Pentecostal Church and Bishop Joseph Gadi Johnson III of the Restoration Baptist Church. These unfounded allegations have not only misrepresented the truth, but have also sought to undermine the integrity and leadership of the Liberal Council of Churches. Over the past 2 years, this leadership has restored the Council's credibility, strengthened governance, expanded partnerships, and advanced our mission through impactful advocacy and inclusive development initiatives. The Council members in the majority and with support of the county chapters reaffirm that the governance of the leadership of Reverend Dr. Samuel B. Reeves, Chinyan, is supported by the Executive Council and endorsed by LCC chapters across all 15 counties. Today, the LCC operates a revised constitution adopted in 2023 and approved by the General Assembly, which holds transparency, accountability, and procedural integrity. Leadership legitimacy is grounded in constitutional compliance, including active participation and dues payment. Regrettably, Bishop Dixon and Bishop Johnson, who challenged this leadership, have failed to pay their annual dues, contributions, and attend executive meetings for 4 and 2 years, respectively, and thus, according to the old 2014 and newly adopted 2023 Constitution, fulfilled their moral and constitutional authority to question it. The council was also shocked by the unfounded way Bishop Dixon, Bishop Johnson, former General Secretary Attorney James Gayflow, and representatives from the Apostolic Pentecost Church and the concerned Christian community walked out of the last executive meeting. The council condemned the action of walkout at the executive board meeting without due respect to the president of the council. Heads of churches and executive members, after a democratic vote, did not favor their position. Such actions reflect a disregard for orderly governance and mutual respect. The council expects a formal written apology from those involved. The LCC remains open to constructive dialogue and reconciliation. However, we will not compromise our commitment to truth, order, and unity, which all our members and the wider Christian community to focus on our shared mission, witness, advocacy, service, and the spiritual upliftment of Liberia.
Reverend Christopher Toll is the General Secretary of the Liberia Council of Churches there, responding to Bishops Gladier Johnson and Toba Dixon's accusation against the leadership of the LCC. Still more developments, the Speaker of the House of Representatives has issued an apology to Liberians for what he called embarrassment caused by the influence at the lower house during the last 7 months. Speaker Richard Cohn said the tension was created because some lawmakers who did not want the tradition of the speakership coming from the ruling party. Speaker Cohn made a disclosure when he was down and honored by residents of the township of West Point in central Monrovia during the weekend.
Let me just first of all apologize to you for the tension we created, the future, especially almost creating violence for this country. As it relates to the speaker, the violence we created to the government that got everybody confused, we want to apologize. So let me tell you why it happened. There is always a reason for these things. There's a common practice and the House of Representatives in the entire legislature. Whenever we go to the first round of election, we await the second round of determining the speaker. In the issues of consensus, we await the second round to determine the speaker. We believe that whenever a speaker is from the party of the government, it makes our work easier. There will be not too much confrontation. The tension we made on this studio indicated from one of our colleagues who said that tradition to be changed. They remember in the first before, one was Chihuahua, but then the speaker. They never have one member the CDC day. But the fact that Baba Chihuahua was a citizen, and moreover his party won the presidency, His Excellency, the former President George Manuel, we decided to give the right to Baba Chihuahua. There was no contention. Normally the president takes the speaker and the court and the deputy falls in the opposition to balance the house. But over our regime, the first legislature, there were people who felt was smarter than us in terms of following the tradition. After we won the election, our president was waiting for the second round. Fortunately for us, he didn't have the right material. We called for a meeting and we told our fellow lawmakers. And this time around, this seat is what unity party. They said no way. They can't happen. You guys can't really want to use. I don't want to use. I'm most sophisticated want to use. It can't happen. We forced to take that seat. It was under pressure And when we went to the election, we lost our farm vote. I'd like to tell you this because I apologize for the tension created by us. But moreover, there was a reason. There was no campaign that we felt if our government we have an opposition speaker, it will suppress the success of the referendum. I'll be honest with you, no matter how you feel. It was on that basis that today we went victorious because we know the right agenda we have is to have a speaker that will work along with the government.
Speaker Combs then apologizing to Liberians over the impacts caused at the House of Representatives, but at the same time giving reason why the impact was necessary. Also remarking during the ceremony, the representative of District 7 in Mosurado County, Emmanuel Dan, assured the residents of West Point that he will ensure that the Newport Junior High School and the MV Massaquoi Junior High School will be elevated to high school. Representative Brown also disclosed that efforts are underway to construct the school on the portion of land in the township of West Point purposely for the construction of another school to meet a great number of children in the district.
But one thing I want to assure you is, you have given me the authority, the power, and the zest to push forward on your behalf for this township to benefit. As a workaholic lawmaker, you all know we started some of the issues, and the speaker is going to address them. Someone talked about the coastal defense project. When he was resigning, I wrote a communication, submitted it to him, and we invited the Minister of Finance, we invited the EPA Executive Director to come and answer some questions, to tell us why they have now started the coastal defense project. I want you to know when he approved that, it did, and today, the project, you can see some things happening. I believe you will see it. Very soon they're going to start. In fact, that project, we wrote a communication also as an addendum. Now somebody called the principal called the NP Master Plan. One of our projects, NP Master Plan is going to be upgraded to City Hall. Just as we said in our campaign speech, that we will ensure that material people in NP Master Plan become senior high school. We are not joking with it. I had a challenge from the health sector, and we want to give our attention to that. It's not easy, but I want ambulance is being used to transport people to and from. We're going to work together to ensure that we add it up, and I'm going to work with the people on that. Because I understand what our mothers, our parents go through. Most of the kids are out of school. May I inform you that I've been working with the township commissioner. I have settled for a piece of land in the township, and very soon we are going to start the construction of a school to turn over for you, the people of the township of Westland, for our kids to go to school. We have come to choose a narrative. You gave us the authority to do so. And so I am not going to rest until I see the township of West Point transformed to what you design. I am not going to rest. So the township and district 7 can be represented adequately, and in the national cake, this district can have a piece to benefit the people. That's what I want to assure you.
Mosurado County District 7 Representative Emmanuel Dan then speaking. Well, we have an hour now past the news presentation. This is a reminder you're listening to the Monday edition of the King's News Room, 45 minutes of news about Nigeria and the rest of our world. It's now to remind you of top stories we are closing for this afternoon. Dozens of families and businesses in parts of Virginia Township to negatively be impacted as government announces planning to take back Hotel Africa, Unity Conference Center, and other hotspots. Citizens movement for change backs a Bombing County Senator A member of the ECOWAS Parliament, Edwin Snow's rejection to the Ministry of Information claims of Snow attempting to undermine and destabilize the government. CMC describes as dangerous lies and anti-democratic tactic exhibited by the government. University of Liberia resumes the registration process for the 2025 entrance and placement exams and aptitude tests. Such exam will be administered in the Monserrato County, except for UL Stroud St. campus in St. Grand County, and away from whom Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky has alleged that the U.S. silence after recent Russian attack is encouraging President Vladimir Putin following Moscow's largest ever attack here. Taking another break, when we come back, we'll bring you more developments. Welcome back. Up next to this development, an executive member of the Liberia Council of Churches, Linda Jones, has described the proposed bill by some members of the House of Senate calling for Christian Muslim holidays as a recipe for instability in the country. Recently, the Senators Edwin Snow, Amara Conan, and Joseph Jala proposed a bill to the plenary of the Liberian Senate, urging that August body to pass into law the establishment of Christian and Muslim holidays in the country. But speaking Friday in Monrovia, Reverend Jones said the passage of such instrument into law could lead to religious dispute and destabilize the peace of the country.
Few days ago, we saw on social media that Edwin Merisuno of Bomi County, also the senator from Lofa County, and the senator for they submit a bill that they want this bill to be passed to be placed into law for Christian and Muslim holiday. And for now, it's not appropriate for such a bill to be in the House. Reason Liberia is at peace. We don't need division to be in our country. So we are calling the president pro tem to not listen or accept such a bill because over the year we was told that Liberia was a Christian nation. Later, by the constitution, Liberia was changed to a secular state. So why can we focus on this identical thing? And we observe that over the year it's not only Christian and Muslim in this identical country. We have the Buddhists, we have so many groups. So why it is that by the end of the day, this bill allowed to be for me, I see it to be evil plan. It is not fine for this country to be divided. So we are calling the senators that want to accept such a bill for them to not so I believe that during the campaign time, those senators that put themselves together, they have already promised certain group of Islamic people in their counties, in their districts, assuring them that by the end of the day, they will make sure that this identical country will be divided. So we are calling every single and the rest of the senators that in front of this identical bill to post up to it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to listen to it. Let Liberia remain as it is so we all can enjoy the peace of this nation.
Pastor Aminda Jones is an executive member of the Liberia Council of Churches there speaking, and he's now taking us away from home for our foreign developments. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky has alleged that the U.S. silence after recent Russian attack is encouraging President Vladimir Putin following Moscow's the overnight attack saw Russia fire 367 drones and Mexico the highest numbers in a single night since Putin launched a full-scale invasion in 2022. At least 12 people, including 3 children, were killed and dozens More injuries and widespread shock across Ukraine. This came a day after one of the heavy assault on the nation's capital. U.S. President Donald Trump reacted late on Sunday by telling reporters, "I'm not happy with Putin. He is killing a lot of people." Ukraine's Air Force said that since the 2:14 on Saturday local time, Russia carried out strike using 298 drones and 69 crews. The Air Force said it had shot down 45 crews and missiles and destroyed 266 UAVs, with most regions in Ukraine affected. And hits recorded in 22 locations. Rescuers were working in more than 30 cities and villages. Zelensky has said. On the note, we'd like to say many thanks to our reporters, editors for making to this news presentation a success. Before we take leave of you, here are top stories we close the photo. A dozen of family and businesses in parts of the Virginia Township to negatively be impacted as government announces plans to take back Hotel Africa, Unity Conference Center, and other hotspots. Citizens Movement for Change backed Bombay County Senator member of the ECOWAS Parliament, Edwin Snow's rejection to the Ministry of Information claims of Snow attempting to undermine and destabilize the government. CMC describes as dangerous lies and anti-democratic tactics exhibited by the government. The University of Liberia resumes registration process for the 2025 entrance and placement exams and aptitude tests. Says exam will be administered only in Montserrat County, except for UL Astrad Sinji campus in Sinji, Grand Cape Town County. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky has alleged that the U.S. silence after recent Russian attack is encouraging President Vladimir Putin for the Moscow largest era's attack. Many thanks to our listeners and our viewers. Following this edition of the news program, St. Andrews brought us the news, bulletin, and Newton Topa, Sarah Control, and every coordinator. So I'm Stevie Conto. Thanks for listening and watching.